with all these studies and including animal studies, are you guys going on the drug approval route? Is that something that's in the horizon?
I am not looking for this for a number of reasons. Man, this has been on our, I haven't say on our mind, but it's been something that has been there forever. And I guess what stops me of going in that direction, there's a number of reasons. Number one, if you go the drug route, then you need to have a really, really clear characterization of the ingredients. If I take a sea buckthorn extract, there's tons of polyphenols in there. Which one is the one that is the active? Which blend, which mix of those is really the active? I really don't know. The amount of research that needs to be done to do this, and the amount of historical data that we have on other plants, that when you use the plant extract, you get the effect, but any one of them does not give you, any one of them components isolated, never give you the full effect. So many pharmaceutical companies have sunk millions in that kind of research to at the end basically say the plant extract work, but the active compounds separated, none of them is really the active compound. So we need to characterize now 5 of these ingredients. It's not a simple task. That's number one. Number two, if we work with the concept here, the reality that the pharmaceutical world today, as it is set up, is designed to work with symptoms or a disease. I don't have a product here that has anything to do with a disease. It just supports a very normal function of the body, which is stem cell mobilization. These stem cells can go into the heart, into the lung, into the brain. It can help your body, but we don't do anything to disease. We just support your natural repair system. So let's say we invest to go and document that it works for the heart. So now it starts to be prescribed for the heart. So I indirectly take it away from the people who take it for their pancreas, their lung, or their brain, or anything else. So of course there's off-label, but once something has been really labeled for one condition, you kind of slowly take it off for the others. So I'm seeing what it does to people's life, and it's like, why would I do one and not the others? And if I do all of them, it's expensive, But I would say probably the most important one is that both you and I are health advocates, biohackers. The idea is like, don't wait to have a problem, a disease to start to do something. So the moment I describe something that is for one condition, then it's no longer something that is available to just somebody who's healthy and just want to stay healthy. The moment we document the role of stem cells, and we can dive into this if you want, but the role of stem cells, not just in repair, but in aging with health, then suddenly we've got probably the poster child of biohacking product or healthy aging product or health optimization product, which does not belong to pharmaceutical. So I'm looking at all of this and I'm thinking, by doing this, as I'm preaching that people must be responsible for their own health, and I'm taking the product that is sort of the product for that kind of vision, and I take it out and I position it pharmaceutical, it seems so contradictory that I don't think we'll ever take that path.
Yeah, this is fascinating because when you're describing the obstacles to the drug, going on the drug route is so similar to the whole biologics industry. The FDA trying to regulate the stem cells, the exosomes, the entire, the natural transplantation, agents that it's hard, it's almost impossible to separate out exactly what the cell's doing, what's the component, and how do you even standardize. Just like how are you standardizing, each crop of the seeds or the herbs may be slightly different from the next crop. Mm-hmm. How do you perfectly standardize? There's a lot of nature involved. And the stem cells, the DNA, what exactly is it secreting? And it's just it gets so complex. It's a holistic soup that we're giving people, right? So whether
Exactly.
or not it's herbal extract or from a cellular, something that the universe made, how do you control that to the degree that the FDA wants? That's it's a monumental task. Maybe it should not be regulated as a drug because this is not a drug. Maybe we're moving into a whole other way of healing the body. So instead of looking at something that's so simple with one molecule hitting a receptor or going around the body in a specific manner, that we're having, 500 different molecules all working together all at once. And we've got to reach a system approach instead of the single linear approach. So that's something I think is a challenge for the healthcare industry. Yeah, so hopefully, we have a whole new way of looking at this and a whole new way of regulating it.
I hope so. There is, you just described it very well. The way that the current pharma approach and regulations for FDA and all of that, it's not a criticism, it's really just an observation. It was designed in a way that absolutely cannot work for what is slowly emerging, which is the depth here of sort of natural medicine, if you want. And I think behind all of this, there is an assumption that we're not really conscious of, but it's a reality. It's the assumption. I find it kind of a little bit ridiculous, but look back here. 20 years ago, we discovered a bunch of things that were not known 5 years before that. 15 years ago, we discovered a bunch of things that we didn't know 20 years ago. And every 5 years, we can look at a lot of things that we have discovered, and we don't draw the lesson that today, the decision that we make by thinking we know it all right now. So we're okay to make a decision today, not realizing that in 5 years from now, what we're deciding today is going to be, I wouldn't say obsolete, but will be changed. So let's take some wisdom out of that. Let's take some distance. And I go back to what I was saying before. If something has worked for 1,000 years, we're talking about the repair system. 20 years ago, this whole understanding on stem cells did not exist. It's a whole new world in the body that has been sort of revealed. So if something has worked for 1,000 years, I don't think that poking at it with a few assays here and there, with a very, very linear thought of going into one direction, looking at one molecule, gives justice really to what these natural products can bring to the body. All the new science on epigenetics, God knows, maybe some of these plants are acting somewhere that we have not even started to look at. All I know is that for 1,000 years, they have been utilized, and people were very happy about the results that they got because they've continued to use them. To me, it's my guiding principle, and how some of these sort of modern way of being analytically looking at plants, I think is limiting us.
Yeah, I so appreciate what you said about respecting 1,000-year-old traditions. That I've seen been lacking. And my first shock was when I was at UCLA Medical School meeting a MD, PhD student, and I mentioned something about acupuncture. And he said, there's still no evidence it actually works. And I was like, are you sure? Have you ever looked at evidence? Have you seen the reams and reams of studies? Even just showing the fact it works. And never mention, never mind 1,000 years or 2,000 years of tradition. But, I think there's such hubris in the medical field, in what we think the modern science can do, as if that can wipe off the tremendous amount of evidence that humans have accumulated, over millennia. So I appreciate your kind of humility that you're actually giving credit to how much humans have put in, the efforts and the observation, the fact that it has helped people so much, and using that as, some kind of a guiding principle or some kind of just at the back of your mind, showing respect for what that has proven.
Did you know that according to world-renowned stem cell scientist Christian Drapeau, there is a direct correlation between the number of circulating stem cells and the body's ability to repair itself? Release 10 million of your own healthy stem cells into circulation per dose with Stemregen Release, a product designed by Christian Drapeau himself. Save 15% off your first order with Stemregen by using the code RENEW and REVIVE at checkout. Please be sure to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.